Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Tanvi Taneja. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi to shortly inaugurate the Global Partnership on Artificial Intelligence Summit in New Delhi. Climate talks at COP28 in Dubai enter last day with no agreement in sight on fossil fuels. Second draft expected. COP29 to be held in Azerbaijan. Britain's Rishi Sunak faces the biggest parliamentary test of his premiership as UK Parliament to vote over his Rwanda asylum plan later today. And IMF grants Ukraine additional $900 million disbursement. Zelensky to meet US President Biden and top congressional officials seeking continued military aid on Tuesday. Up first, updates from India. It is the sixth day of the winter session of Indian Parliament. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman replied after the discussion on supplementary demands for grants, first batch for 2023-24, and demands for excess grants for 2020-21 in the lower house. In the upper house, Minister of State for Law and Justice Arjun Ram Meghwal moved the Chief Election Commissioner and other election commissioners' appointment conditions of service and terms of office bill. Earlier in the day, the Minister of State for Home Affairs, Nityanand Rai, introduced the Jammu and Kashmir Reorganisation Second Amendment Bill and the Government of Union Territories and Amendment Bill in the lower house. Now, the 28th session of the United Nations Climate Change Conference, or COP28, ends in Dubai today. A new document is in the pipeline as countries debate on no mention of fossil fuels in the first draft, which was released on Monday and was deemed as the most critical document of COP this year. The first draft notably omitted the mention of phasing out of fossil fuels, and now the new one is on its way to get published. During the discussions on Tuesday, over 100 countries agreed to tripling the renewable energy capacity by the year 2030. This would bring global renewable energy capacity to at least 11,000 gigawatts in the next 6 years. It would also require high investments, as International Energy Agency had hit $600 billion globally last year. Ambassador Majid Al-Suwaidi, COP28 Director General, said that at the COP28, the world is facing the most demanding COP agenda in history. The COP28 presidency remains steadfast in calling for the highest possible ambition. He also said that they are also relentlessly committed to helping the parties agree the best plan they can for the world.
We've been seeking the right balance between those elements. But this is a process of the parties. It's a question of how ambitious the parties truly are and where they want the balance to be. That is what we're negotiating about. And while the presidency can guide, direct, and encourage, the level of ambition is for the parties to agree. When the new text is released, we will open to further feedback. The presidency is calling for the highest possible ambition, and we're committed to helping the parties agree the best plan they can for the world. We will keep you updated as best we can.
Meanwhile, the COP28 Climate Summit in Dubai on Monday approved a proposal to hold the next iteration of the annual event in the Central Asian Republic of Azerbaijan.
Dear Mr. President, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, I am deeply honored and humbled by the opportunity to address this esteemed gathering of the 28th session of United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. Our sincere gratitude goes out to the Convention Secretariat and the host country, United Arab Emirates, for their tireless efforts in organizing this extraordinary event. The challenges we face demand collective action and dedication to the commonly agreed objectives and aspirations. Azerbaijan understands the critical importance of collaborative efforts to combat climate change.
Let's now get you the latest on the Russia-Ukraine conflict. Ukraine said that 73 battles took place between the Russian and Ukrainian troops in the last 24 hours. It added that the Ukrainian Air Force downed 9 of 15 Russian drones and 2 cruise missiles launched overnight, apart from destroying a Russian ammunition depot. Meanwhile, Russia said that its forces attacked Ukrainian arsenal and repelled Ukrainian offensives in the Kherson region. Now, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky is expected to make a crucial pitch to U.S. lawmakers today as the fate of billions of dollars of U.S. assistance for Ukraine remains in limbo. Republicans say they aren't willing to approve the new funding unless the Democrats and President Biden concede to major immigration policy changes on the U.S. southern border. DD India's Kate Fisher reports from Washington, D.C.
On his third visit to Washington, D.C. since Russia invaded Ukraine in 2022, President Zelensky is making a last-ditch plea to Congress for more funding. The White House says the visit will, quote, underscore the United States' unshakable commitment to supporting the people of Ukraine. But time is running out to see that support continue. Republican senators last week blocked $106 billion in emergency aid, which was primarily for Ukraine and Israel, because the package didn't contain the immigration reforms they demanded. US President Joe Biden's warned that a failure to pass the new funding would hand Russian President Vladimir Putin a victory and embolden him to invade more European countries. Congress has already passed billions of dollars worth of military and economic funding for Ukraine, but securing additional money to help it continue to defend its country against Russia has become harder, as more Republicans have questioned the scale of the funding and how it's being used. President Zelensky has not yet been invited to speak in the Republican-controlled House of Representatives, though he will meet the new Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, and he's been invited to speak at an all-senators meeting on Tuesday morning. He's expected to give a press conference later in the day after his White House meeting with President Biden. Kate Fisher in Washington reporting for DD India.
Russia has said that it will be watching the meeting between Biden and Zelensky very attentively. The Kremlin also said that tens of billions of dollars already provided by Washington to Kiev had failed to turn the tide of war. It added that more US aid won't be able to help Ukraine. The Kremlin said that Zelensky's authority was being undermined by the failures on the battlefield. On to the UK now. Prime Minister Rishi Sunak is facing a battle, the biggest one of his premiership yet, to persuade Tory MPs to back his flagship Rwanda bill ahead of a key vote. UK lawmakers will vote later on the legislation aimed at reviving the government's Rwanda migration policy. It was struck down by courts in November. DD India's Ollie Barrett reports from London.
It is a key day for Rishi Sunak's premiership, but also for his Rwanda legislation. He is spending the day trying to convince as many of his own Conservative MPs as possible to back him in this vote later. The difficulty that he has is that he has a group of right-wing Conservative MPs who say that the legislation potentially needs to be pulled and reworked. Some of them say they will vote for it, but it needs to be toughened up during later stages of the parliamentary process. Then there are others in the centre and on the left of the Conservative Party who say that they may be able to back the bill in its current form, but wouldn't be able to continue to support it were it to be toughened up in any way. And so the Prime Minister's being pulled in various different directions and has not very much room for manoeuvre. The idea behind the legislation is that it will deal with some of the concerns set out by Supreme Court judges when they ruled the Rwanda migration scheme unlawful last month. The idea of the scheme is to see some asylum seekers removed from the UK and sent to Rwanda for their claims to be processed there, partly as a deterrent to levels of illegal migration. No flights to Rwanda have yet got off the ground, and the Prime Minister believes that this legislation is key to seeing those flights starting to move ahead of the next UK general election. If Rishi Sunak were to have to pull this vote today, or if he lost this vote later on in the House of Commons, that would be a significant blow to his authority. Ollie Barrett in London, reporting for DD India.
President of China, Xi Jinping, is trying to counter America's growing relationship with its old enemy, Vietnam. She's visiting Vietnam for the first time in 6 years, just a few months after President Joe Biden was there. DD India's Andrew Wood has more from Hong Kong.
Vietnam and China have a lot in common. They're neighbours, their economies are increasingly integrated, and they're both run by communist parties. Nevertheless, Vietnam has traditionally been rather suspicious of its larger northern neighbour. For example, they actually fought a war back in 1979. China invaded Vietnam, and it had the embarrassment of being defeated by Vietnam. So there is this wariness, and I think that China has not done itself any favours by claiming all of, or pretty much all, of the South China Sea as its own territory, because that includes a large chunk of Vietnamese territorial waters. And I think that that's pushed Vietnam closer to America as a result. Remember, President Biden was in Vietnam just 2 or 3 months ago. Now it's the chance for President Xi to try to woo Vietnam back. As I say, the economies are pretty well integrated, although to be fair, Vietnam has been doing rather well out of some of China's problems at the moment. The more foreign companies want to decouple and de-risk from China, the more of them are actually moving their investments to Vietnam instead. So not great news for China there. Vietnam is a rival, but it's still much less developed. And President Xi is believed to be offering the chance to build a railway, a modern standard gauge heavy railway to link Vietnam to the railway network of China to replace old colonial lines. Now, President Xi Jinping is talking about a common destiny for Vietnam and China. No doubt he thinks that that sounds like an opportunity. There is a possibility, though, that the Vietnamese think that a common destiny for Vietnam with China might be more of a threat. In Hong Kong, I'm Andrew Wood, reporting for DD India.
You're watching DD India Live, still to come on this edition. Israel doesn't intend to stay permanently in Gaza. Israel Defense Minister Gallant said this as Israel was open to discussing alternatives about who would control the territory of Gaza. And Donald Trump dominates the Republican Party's 2024 election campaign, but Indian-American Nikki Haley gains momentum.
बदलो बदलो आदत बदलो 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 आदत बदलो अब नजदीकी बैंक जाकर फटे पुराने नोट्स बदलिए अगर बैंक मना करे तो आरबीआई के ओम्बुड्समैन से शिकायत करें आरबीआई कहता है जानकार बनिए सतर्क रहिए
Welcome back. You're watching DD India Live. I am Tanvi Taneja. Sad news coming from Pakistan. On Tuesday, Islamist militants rammed an explosives-laden truck into a police station in northwest Pakistan, killing at least 23 soldiers. A Pakistani Taliban group has claimed responsibility for the attack. As per the Pakistani army, the bomb and gun attack occurred in the district of Dera Ismail Khan on the edge of the lawless tribal regions bordering Afghanistan. The police station was being used by the Pakistani army as a base camp. On to West Asia. Now, Israeli army released a video on Monday showing weapons from inside a mosque in Jabalia, northern Gaza. In the video, an unidentified member of the Israeli armed forces narrates some of the footage in which he exhibits areas within the mosque where the army said it found weapons and a Hamas training area. Israeli Defense Minister Yoav Gallant said that Israel had no intention of staying permanently in the Gaza Strip and that it was open to discussing alternatives about who would control the territory as long as it was not a group hostile to Israel.
Israel will take any measures in order to destroy Hamas, but we have no intention to stay permanently in Gaza Strip. We only take care of our security and the security of our citizens alongside the borders with Gaza and elsewhere.
On to the Americas now. In the race towards 2024 Republican presidential elections, Donald Trump maintains a commanding lead in the polls. However, his closest competitor, Indian-American Nikki Haley, is steadily gaining momentum. Haley showcased her resilience in the latest presidential debate, engaging in spirited exchanges with her fellow contenders. Meanwhile, the U.S. Special Counsel Jack Smith asked the Supreme Court on Monday to launch a fast-track review of Donald Trump's claim that he cannot be tried on those charges, responding to which the Supreme Court ordered Trump's lawyers to respond to the request by December 20th. Trump had appealed a decision by the U.S. District Judge Tanya Chutkan on December 1st, rejecting his bid to dismiss the case, which was not considered by the judge. In a rarity, the counsel's move reflects the urgency ahead of the November 5th election. If re-elected, Trump could seek to pardon himself of any federal crimes. Still with the United States, U.S. President's son, Hunter Biden, asked a federal judge to dismiss criminal gun charges against him. Hunter was indicted in September with lying about his drug use when he bought a firearm, becoming the first child of a sitting president to be charged with a felony. The gun charges are separate from the criminal tax charges that were filed against Hunter Biden on Thursday in federal court in California, accusing him of failing to pay $1.4 million in taxes. Hunter Biden's lawyer said that he repaid the taxes in full. The gun charges carry a maximum penalty of 10 years in prison and a fine of $250,000 and 3 years of supervised release. The current whereabouts of the Russian opposition politician Alexei Navalny are unknown from Russian jail. He was sentenced in August to an additional 19 years in prison on top of 11.5 years that he was already serving. On Monday, his allies stated that they have not been able to contact him since the last 6 days. Navalny was expected to be transferred to a special regime colony, the harshest grade in Russia's prison system. The United States has said that it is deeply concerned following the news that jailed Russian opposition figure Alexei Navalny has gone missing. The US State Department called for immediate release of Navalny. DD India's Nick Harper reports from Washington, D.C.
We do not have any information about his whereabouts. We are deeply concerned for Mr. Navalny's well-being after his lawyers have stated that they have not been able to contact him for almost a week now, and after he did not appear at his scheduled court appearance today. We have communicated to the Russian government that they are responsible for what happens to Mr. Navalny while he's in their custody, and they will be held accountable by the international community.
It's thought that Alexei Navalny was being held in a penal colony where he's serving his 19-year sentence. However, for a week now, his lawyers have been unable to contact him. Indeed, they don't even know where exactly he's being held. They say on Friday they contacted 2 colonies where they thought that he had been detained, only to be told he was at neither facility. His lawyers say he's now been missing for at least 6 days. According to his legal team, Navalny was scheduled to appear in court via video link on Monday, but prison authorities informed his team that electricity issues meant he was not able to appear as planned. The United States is worried. The US National Security Council spokesman John Kirby saying the Biden administration is deeply concerned by the news, saying they've not received any news about him or his whereabouts. Speaking to reporters on board Air Force One, Kirby said Washington was going to work with the US Embassy in Moscow to try and get more information. He also said Navalny should be released immediately, adding he should never have been jailed in the first place. The White House has previously spoken out against the jailing of Navalny. US President Joe Biden has called his treatment of the Kremlin critic totally unfair and totally inappropriate. Navalny was convicted of extremism, claims his supporters say were politically motivated to prevent his opposition and criticism of Russian President Vladimir Putin. Nick Harper in Washington, reporting for DD India.
And now we take a look at other stories making news around the world. Iranian woman Mahsa Amini, who died in police custody last year, and the Women Life Freedom Movement in Iran will symbolically be awarded the EU Parliament's Sakharov Rights Prize. Amini's death sparked months of protests by women against the morality police and women's rights movement in Iran. Close to 500,000 Afghan refugees have returned to Afghanistan from Pakistan over the past 2 months. The mass movement followed Pakistan's decision where it gave undocumented migrants in the country until November 1st to leave. The UN Refugee Agency issued a stark warning cautioning that Afghans crossing the border from Pakistan could face life-threatening conditions this winter without adequate shelter. South Korean officials have urged that Russia should help impose new sanctions against North Korea over its recent launch of a spy satellite. South Korea's Unification Minister Kim Young-ho said last month's satellite launch violated UN Security Council's resolutions banning North Korea's use of ballistic technology. They also called for enforcing existing bans on the isolated country's labor exports. Former United Nations Secretary-General Ban Ki-moon has won this year's Diwali Stamp Lifetime Achievement Award. The event, held at UN headquarters, acknowledges those who embody the spirit of Diwali and lights victory over darkness. William Denslow has more from New York.
Kicking off the awards ceremony, the head of the European Union's UN delegation, Olof Skog, said the event recognises those that have made a difference beyond the halls of the United Nations, encapsulating the spirit of Diwali. Back in 2016, the US Postal Service issued a Forever Diwali stamp. A year later, the Diwali Foundation established the Diwali Stamp, the Power of One Award, which is given to those deemed to have worked selflessly, partially at the United Nations in an attempt to create a more secure, peaceful and perfect world for all. The event's been dubbed the Oscars of diplomacy.
Let us remember that every small light, no matter how small, can make a significant difference in dispelling the shadows. Let this Diwali be a testament to the resilience of the human spirit, our ability to find light in the darkest of times, and our unyielding belief in the power of goodness.
The recipient of the Diwali Stamp Power of One Lifetime Achievement Award this year was former UN Secretary-General Ban Ki-moon, who served in the role from 2007 to 2016. Dignitaries at the event described him as a global champion of peace and security. Upon accepting the award, Ban Ki-moon said it was a great honour and thanked those for advancing light in a world of darkness. William Denslow in New York, reporting for DD India.
On to Poland now. Poland's parliament has elected centrist party leader Donald Tusk as their new prime minister after 8 years of conservative rule. Tusk was elected prime minister nearly 2 months after a national election that was won by a coalition of parties ranging from left-wing to moderate conservative. Addressing lawmakers after a majority of lawmakers voted for him, Tusk said he was in the debt of voters who believed in this new magnificent Polish hope. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky and European Union officials sent congratulations to Polish opposition leader Donald Tusk via a social media post after Poland's parliament backed him to become the prime minister. Estonian Prime Minister, Moldovan President and Belarusian opposition leader also sent their congratulations. Back to India now. India marks a pivotal moment in India's journey towards becoming a top-notch manufacturing hub for cutting-edge mobile technology. Top mobile manufacturing companies such as that of Apple and Samsung have also expanded their manufacturing operations in India, solidifying the nation's role in the global supply chain. India's democratic environment provides a stable and trusted setting for global supply chains, making it an appealing alternative to China. The transition in supply chain dynamics is evident with a remarkable increase in US and European greenfield investment in India, while investments in China have decreased significantly. Now let's take a look at India's recent employment data provided by the National Sample Survey Organization's periodic labour force survey. The data shows that an improved employment situation is being seen in the country, both in quantity and quality. As per this survey, salaried employees increased to 14.3 crores in 2022-23 from 11.5 crores in 2017-18. Monthly EPFO data with the net additions in August 2023 is 116% higher than that of December 2019. The unemployment rate during April to June 2023 quarter was recorded the lowest over the last 5 years. The unemployment rate fell to 6.6% in the April to June quarter of the current fiscal year from 7.2% a year ago. Further, formal employment increased by 1.6 crores from 4.7 crores in 2017-18 to 6.3 crores in 2022-23. The demand for work under MG Narega declined sharply in 2023, depicting the significant fall of the distressed work demand in the country. On to some sporting action. Khelo India Para Games are underway in New Delhi. Indian shooter Sifth Kaur boosted the morale of para players by participating in the medal ceremony of the athletics event at the inaugural edition of this Khelo India Para Games. DD India correspondent Deepika got us this exclusive conversation with the shooter. Let's know more about her journey.
First edition of the Khelo India Para Games, and we have with us the celebrated shooter Sifth Kaur, who is here to support the para athletes. Well, thank you so much, Sifth, for talking to us and also for coming here to support the para athletes. This is the first ever edition of Khelo India Para Games. What do you have to say about this?
First of all, thanks me for inviting me, and I feel so good that I got an invitation for giving medals to the para athletes, and I think this Khelo India platform is really good for all of us. For me personally, it helped me a lot, and now it's time for the para athletes.
Indeed, it is the time for para athletes, but when we talk about the opportunity that they are getting, this is the first ever edition of Khelo India Para Games. So para games have come under the ambit of Khelo India scheme, and also looking at the transformational journey of sports altogether. What is the change that you see?
As a sports person, now today at the time the government is doing really good. They have made a good structures for the sports athletes, and personally from my point of view, I am also training under the SAI only, and we have a really good range, and today I came to the JLN stadium, and this is also well maintained, so I think this is the more an athletes want.
Indeed, and when we talk about the infrastructure development that you've also seen, because you are an international player, we saw your record-breaking performance at the recently held Asian Games also. So when we talk about all these performances and when we match the international facilities with the kind of facilities that you are now getting in India, what is your observation?
today we are getting international level facilities, and I think that's only helping all of the athletes to perform really well. In the Asian Games only, you can see that we have performed really well, and Para Asian Games were also like so good. So I think if the government is doing so much, so I think this is the thing that we are also putting efforts that, okay, government supporting us, so we are also there that we will do good.
From MBBS to shooting, your journey has been really interesting and long as well. What is your next goal now?
So as we know that I have left MBBS, so now my goal is just shooting. And shooting for now we have trials. I have some international matches. So till the Olympics we have the matches, so I will be performing that, and I'm hoping that I will be doing great.
Thank you so much, Sif, for talking to us and sharing this inspirational message for all the players. So this is Sif Kaur talking about not only her journey, but how inspiring it becomes when we talk about the participation of para players and the platform that they are getting to perform here at the national level, which will indeed help them to perform better at the international arenas. This is Deepika with camera person Saurabh reporting for DD India.
In cricket, India takes on South Africa in the second T20 match in Quebaha, formerly known as Port Elizabeth, on Tuesday after the first match was washed out. But the rain threat looms large as there is a forecast for downpour at St. George's Park. These T20s are the last competitive matches South Africa will play before they have to name their T20 World Cup squad. India has these matches and one more series against Afghanistan in January, so the importance of finding the right combination is amplified for both the teams. The Indian team is led by Surya Kumar Yadav for 3-match T20 series, while Aiden Markram heads the South African team. The Indians come into the match on a high, having won the series against Aussies on their home soil. Indian Grandmaster Vidit Gujrati defeated compatriot Arjun Erigyase by 0.5 points to win the 9th Vyuga Gashimov Memorial Chess Tournament in Azerbaijan. Vidit finished the 10-player tournament with 22 points, while Arjun had 21.5 points after 27 rounds of rapid and blitz games. Vidit drew 7, lost 1 and won 2 matches in rapid time controls to finish second behind Azerbaijan's Aydin Suleimani with 11 points in 9 rounds. Vidit finished on top alongside Hungary's Richard Rappo with 12 points in the double round-robin blitz format. He came out as a winner against the local favourites Nijat Abbasov, Temur Rajabov and Shakhriyar Mamedyarov. And some football action now. Bayern Munich will take on Manchester United in the Champions League on Tuesday. Bayern have already won Group A to secure a last 16 berth, while United are at the bottom and must beat Bundesliga champions to stand any chance of joining them. The United might have hoped that Bayern would be less fired up for the Old Trafford clash, but the debacle against Frankfurt means Thomas Tuchel's side will be wounded and dangerous. Bayern have 13 points from their 5 games in Group A and beat United 4-3 at home, while the hosts must win and hope that Galatasaray and Copenhagen draw their match.
It's a dangerous team. My experience is always very, very dangerous to play Manchester United. They have a certain aura, they have a certain mentality that makes them always very difficult to beat. They can endure difficult phases in their matches. I feel that this is part of the DNA of the club, that they can overcome difficult minutes, difficult phases in a match and still win and still steal points.
Back to the inaugural edition of the Khelo Para Games that is underway in India. Many young school children came to the stadiums to support their favourite players. Watching the para players play, now they're also inspired to take up a sport in the future. Take a look.
The environment is very electric here at the 3rd day of Khelo India Para Games. Well, this is the first edition of KIPG 2023, but the fans are coming here in large numbers, and we have some small kids who have come here to watch the Khelo India Para Games. Let's talk to them. Hello, what is your name?
My name is Vaibhav.
Vaibhav, which player are you supporting today?
I am supporting Dev Rathi.
Dev Rathi, why?
Because he's playing good.
And which sport do you like?
I like cricket and football the most.
This is the first edition of Khelo India Para Games and the players are specially abled. Do you get any sort of motivation from these players?
Yes.
Okay, which sport would you like to play?
In future?
Yes.
I like to play cricket.
Why?
Because my inspiration is like MS Dhoni and I follow him so much. And because of him, I want to play cricket in the future.
You were cheering a lot for all the badminton players. Are you enjoying the matches?
Yes.
This is your first time watching a match?
Yes.
What do you want to say more about it?
Just enjoying the match.
Enjoying the match? Great.
Indian para-badminton player Nitya Srisevan lauded the government's initiative to organize the inaugural Khelo India Para Games. Speaking to DD India's correspondent Narayan Singh, Sivan said that the Games will provide a platform for building para-athletes in the country to showcase their talent on the national stage.
How you look this initiative, how it will help the para-athletes?
It is a good platform for all athletes, all para-athletes to showcase their performance over here and they will get several good opportunities forward also. This might give an initiation to every people in India to know about para games.
If you take a look at the past tournament, they are winning a good number of medals. So what's the reason you find behind the India's stupendous performance?
We have professional academies and I specifically train under Gaurav Khanna sir in Lucknow and we have professional setup for our para training. We have coaches from outside other countries and sir is taking huge responsibility on us and he is the one behind para badminton who have made this number of achievements today. So not like other academies, they are also helping everyone.
You have seen that when para athletes came back after winning medals at the Hangzhou Para-Asian Games. So he interacted with, so such sort of motivation from the PM, he tweets for every individual when we are winning the medals. So how you look that thing, the we can say the encouragement from the top leadership for the athletes like you?
So actually meeting such big personalities is of course a big motivation for us and they bless us with such a words. It really motivates us and it makes us to keep moving forward. And schemes of our government are nowadays equal to para-athletes as well as able-bodied athletes. So it's a really good thing that we are also getting equal opportunities and importance like able-bodied athletes.
We can say that it's a big stepping stone, a big, we can say, achievement from the government side to give equal opportunity to everyone. And it's we can say that it will promote inclusivity in India. With camera person, Senthil, Narayan Singh, DD India, Delhi.
We're heading for a short break in the bulletin. When we come back, we'll take you live to the Global Partnership on Artificial Intelligence Summit that kickstarts in New Delhi today. We'll be back in a short while. Stay with us. Welcome back. You're watching DD India Live. I am Tanvi Taneja. Now, updates on the Viksit Bharat Sankalp Yatra. This trip has reached in Sula constituency in the North Indian state of Himachal Pradesh. This trip was welcomed with tremendous enthusiasm and active participation from local communities. The public displayed a strong commitment to the development and progress of the nation. Beneficiaries shared progressive stories of the benefits they availed from various schemes. The Viksit Bharat Sankalp Yatra has reached the district of Barabanki in India's northern state of Uttar Pradesh, where it spread information regarding the union government's welfare programs and schemes. The yatra was welcomed with enthusiasm and active participation from the local communities. The IEC vans at the center of this Sankalp Yatra have emerged as a dynamic tool as it continues to traverse various blocks of the districts. With a firm resolve to make India a developed nation by 2047, this Viksit Bharat Sankalp Yatra reached Khurda district in India's eastern state of Odisha. The program witnessed large gathering and locals were informed about the benefits of the central government welfare schemes. Viksit Bharat Sankalp Yatra is being undertaken across the country to attain the saturation of flagship schemes of the government by ensuring that the benefits of these schemes reach all the targeted beneficiaries in a time-bound manner. Now let's take a look at some other stories making news in India. Indian President Draupadi Murmu on Tuesday graced and addressed the second convocation of Indian Institute of Information Technology in Lucknow. President Murmu also conferred 7 gold, silver and bronze medals to the meritorious students. A 6-member central committee convened for a consultation session to evaluate the impact on different rain-affected areas in South Indian state of Tamil Nadu. The meeting included secretaries and officers from departments like Revenue, Finance, Transport, Highways and Police, according to sources familiar with the matter. Fans gathered outside South Indian actor Rajnikant's residence as the actor celebrates his 73rd birthday. Rajnikant has worked in 169 films in various languages in a career spanning over 5 decades. A fund managers survey, or FMS, conducted by the Bank of America has found that Japan and India are the most favored investment markets in the Asia-Pacific region. Japan solidifies its place at the top of the preference stack. Japan is followed by India, while Thailand, China and Australia remain much lower in this list. The global FMS also showed that while investors remained cautious on macro, they have turned bullish on interest rates. And now we are going to the Global Partnership on Artificial Intelligence Summit that is kick-starting at the Bharat Mandapam in New Delhi, and Prime Minister Narendra Modi will shortly inaugurate the summit.
Respectfully welcome Honorable Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi, Shri Ashwini Vaishnav, Honorable Minister for Electronics and Information Technology, Railways and Communications, Shri Rajiv Chandrasekhar, Honorable Minister of State for Electronics and Information Technology, Skill Development and Entrepreneurship and Jal Shakti, Honorable Mr. Hiroshi Yoshida, Minister of Outgoing Chair of GPay, Vice Minister for Policy Coordination, Ministry of Internal Affairs and Communications, Japan, Shri S. Krishnan, Secretary and Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology. We also welcome with gratitude the delegates from 28 member countries and European Union, GPay experts, multi-stake organizations, industry leaders, policymakers, innovators, academia, students, media, officials from the Government of India and Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, and other stakeholders and distinguished guests. After a very successful G20 summit under its presidency, when India's power of digital public infrastructure was recognized by the whole world, India is now hosting COP28 Summit 2023, where India looks forward to working with the global community in finding solutions, ways and means to use artificial intelligence for building solutions for societal problems in healthcare, agriculture and education. We also look forward to working with the global community in bringing consensus to address the risks associated with artificial intelligence and secure, safe, trusted, responsible artificial intelligence solutions. I now invite Shri Rajiv Chandrasekhar, Honorable Minister of State for Electronics and Information Technology, to present the welcome address.
Honorable Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi ji, Minister Hiroshi Yoshida of Japan, outgoing chair of the GPA, Minister Ashwini Vaishnav, Excellencies, my colleagues in the Government of India, Shri Krishnan, delegates, AI practitioners, students, ladies and gentlemen. Namaste. It is my proud privilege to welcome you to this Global Partnership of AI Summit 2023 in New Delhi. This is certainly one of the most awaited AI events in the year. We are meeting in exciting times. In just the last 18 months, AI as we knew it has been catapulted into a new orbit, creating opportunities unprecedented in history, and of course, creating some legitimate concerns of safety and responsibility. As host country, we ourselves have seen the power of tech in the last 9 years since our Prime Minister launched Digital India, and we have seen close hand how technology has transformed the lives of our citizens and deeply transformed for good democracy and governance while catalyzing digital and innovation economy, entrepreneurships and startups. The unprecedented digitalization and commitment to tech has made India one of the fastest and most exciting innovation ecosystems in the world, with over 100,000 startups and 108 unicorns created in the last few years alone. India under Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji is all in for all emerging technologies and is committed to exploiting AI to ensure advancements in healthcare, agriculture, governance, language translations, and many other real-life use cases as a natural expansion of our India DPI framework of solutions. Artificial intelligence is without doubt one of the greatest inventions of our times. There is much good that can come from AI, whilst being aware and cognizant of the trends of harms and criminalities that also are enabled by AI, like misinformation, deep fakes, and malicious models. GPA is a coming together of nations that can work together to shape the future of AI, to give a framework that enables the good of AI for all our people, while ensuring clear and accountable guardrails that ensure safety, trust, and responsibility are put in place. So today and the next 2 days, delegates from over 28 countries will have conversations around this, various topics and sessions that could and hopefully will lead to a global framework and a much better understanding amongst like-minded nations about the present and the future of AI. I thank all of you for being here. I welcome you again to the COP28 Summit 2023 and wish you many successful conversations. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thank you, Honorable Minister of State Meti, Shri Rajiv Chandrasekhar. And now I humbly request Honorable Minister of Outgoing Chair of COP28, Mr. Hiroshi Yoshida, to kindly address the gathering.
His Excellency Prime Minister Narendra Modi, His Excellency Minister Vaishnav, His Excellency Minister Chandrasekhar, Honorable Ministers, distinguished delegates, and ladies and gentlemen, good evening. My name is Yoshida Hiroshi, Vice Minister for Policy Coordination at the Japanese Ministry of Internal Affairs and Communications. It is a great pleasure and honor for me to speak here today, representing GPA outgoing chair country of Japan. First of all, I would like to congratulate the government of India for this glorious opening ceremony of GPA Summit 2023 with the presence of Honorable Prime Minister Modi. As we all know, AI technology quickly evolves, and this year we witnessed the rapid progress and spread of generative AI across the society. Since the technology affects all people across the society, AI governance needs to be discussed in a multi-stakeholder approach. GPA is the initiative where all stakeholders, including AI experts and government officials, work together, and that is why Japan puts so much importance on GPA. At the GPA Summit Tokyo last year, we held many side events to encourage GPA experts to interact with each other and deliver messages to the rest of the world. This year, India is hosting the AI Expo in addition to many side events, and we see many private sector participants joining the GPA Summit. This must be a great step forward for GPA, and I appreciate India for this marvelous leadership. On generative AI, Japan has taken the G7 presidency this year and launched the Hiroshima AI process to discuss how to promote safe, secure, and trustworthy development and use of advanced AI systems such as generative AI. On the 1st of December, G7 digital and tech ministers agreed on the Hiroshima AI process comprehensive policy framework. This comprehensive policy framework consists of OECD's report towards the G7 Common Understanding on Generative AI, International Code of Conduct for organizations developing advanced AI systems, International Guiding Principles for all AI actors, as well as project-based cooperation with the GPA and other international organizations. This policy framework is the first international framework aimed at promoting safe, secure, and trustworthy development and use of advanced AI systems. And we hope this framework will develop to the foundation for global AI governance. I believe that the fundamental concept of human-centric AI underlying the Hiroshima AI process is already shared among the GPA member countries and observers. AI was also discussed in IGF Kyoto this October, including high-level multi-stakeholder AI session and GPA session. I'm looking forward to exchanging views with you on cooperation on generative AI here in GPA Summit. Excellency, I would also like to take this opportunity to express my deepest gratitude to the member countries, observers, and others for your cooperation in administrating the GPA under the Japanese lead chair since last year's GPA Summit. Japan will remain committed to contribute to the GPA next year and onward. Japan proposes to establish the GPA Tokyo Center as a new GPA Expert Support Center to further contribute to the GPA's activities. Excellency, with this inaugural ceremony, Japan hands over GPA lead chair to Indian government. India took the G20 presidency this year and successfully reached an agreement on the G20 New Delhi Declaration. This demonstrated India's strong leadership in international discussions in many fields, including AI. Japan supports India's efforts to expand the membership of GPA to include more partners from the Global South, as well as to encourage more interaction among various stakeholders. Japan looks forward to working with the Chair of India. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Hiroshi Yoshida. And now I would like to invite Shri Ashwini Vaishnav, Honorable Minister for Electronics and Information Technology, to present his address.
Honorable Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi ji, Minister Shri Rajiv Chandrasekhar ji, Excellency Hiroshi Yoshida-san, distinguished delegates. I am honored to welcome you at the Global Partnership on AI, that is GPACE Summit 2023. This summit marks a significant moment for international collaboration on AI. As chair of GPACE, India offers this platform to foster effective global cooperation on AI. Wide-ranging disruptive technologies such as AI raise a fundamental question. How should the society respond to such technological developments? India's response is defined by our Prime Minister's vision of democratization of technology. India believes in harnessing the potential of AI for inclusive growth. This vision translates into AI use in various sectors. For example, serving citizens in native languages through the Bhashini language tool, providing personalized learning experience to students, making healthcare accessible through AI-powered diagnostics, improving yield and resource management through precision agriculture techniques, and many of these solutions are at display in the expo. We believe that AI has the potential to address global challenges and improve lives across the world. Through collaboration, we can leverage this powerful technology to create a better future for all. However, AI also presents wide-ranging challenges. Technologies such as AI are not amenable to geographic boundaries. Addressing these challenges should be our collective concern. Under India's presidency of the G20, the New Delhi Leaders' Declaration emphasized the commitment to leverage AI for public good. And in GPACE Summit 2023, we all have an opportunity to take this G20 commitment forward. Over the next 3 days, we will all benefit from the perspectives of experts and experience of government, academia, and industry. We hope to arrive at a consensus on a response through this dialogue and discussion. My best wishes to all the delegates and participants. I am confident that deliberations at GPACE Summit 2023 will bring out the best practices and uses of responsible AI. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Shri Ashwini Vaishnav, Honorable Minister for Electronics and Information Technology, for throwing light on India's vision for GPACE Summit 2023. And now I take this opportunity to request Honorable Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi, to inaugurate the GPACE Summit 2023 by pressing the button on the remote.
In the whirlwind of innovation, artificial intelligence emerges as a frontier where exponential growth transforms imagination into reality. Under the visionary leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, India utilizes AI across diverse fronts, from serving citizens in their languages to personalizing education, enhancing healthcare accessibility, and technology-enabled agriculture, promising to uplift the lives of the common man and poor by providing affordable access to essential services. Its growth model prioritizes equity and inclusivity, ensuring that no one is left behind when innovation takes the lead. In the realm of AI, India fosters a universal understanding, steering the technology towards humanity's betterment. As a founder member of Global Partnership on Artificial Intelligence, GPAI, India actively contributes to responsible AI development. The GPAI is a multi-stakeholder initiative which aims to bridge the gap between theory and practice on AI by supporting cutting-edge research and applied activities on AI-related priorities. Since joining as a founding member on June 15, 2020, India has been pivotal in advancing GPAI's global goals, actively contributing to responsible AI development, deployment, and adoption of open, safe, secure, and accountable AI. India has strategically fostered a leading ecosystem for safe and trusted artificial intelligence, boasting a robust workforce, dynamic startups, pioneering R&D centers, and serving as a key access hub to extensive data sets. India triumphs in global AI rankings, securing the top spot for AI skill penetration and GitHub AI projects, while claiming the 5th position for private investment and newly funded AI companies as highlighted in the Stanford AI Index Report 2023. India, a leading global South economy, assumes the crucial role of GPAI lead chair for 2024 under the visionary leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. This alliance of nations is poised for redefining the trajectory of AI, transcending geographical boundaries and fostering inclusive development.
We want India to become a global hub for AI. Our approach to this is powered by core principle of teamwork, trust, collaboration, responsibility, and inclusivity. It remains our collective responsibility to ensure trust in how AI is used. Algorithm transparency is key to establishing this trust. Equally important is accountability.
India hosts the 2023 annual GPAI Summit from December 12th to 14th. The summit shapes the future of trustworthy AI through leadership meetings, startup competitions, and research symposiums. The Global AI Expo fosters innovation and dialogue among government officials, industry experts, and investors. GPAI unites 28 countries and the EU to responsibly guide AI development and usage. Leading as the chair of GPAI, India is committed to ensure safe and trusted AI globally. The GPAI's proposed priorities for 2025, spanning across climate action, healthcare, resilient societies, sustainable agriculture, and collaborative AI for global partnerships. Steered by India's helm at the GPAI 2023 Summit, let's collectively shape a future where technology, guided by the trustworthy AI development, serves humanity, ushering in the era of positive global impact.
Respected ladies and gentlemen, I now make a humble request to the Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi, to address the august gathering. Please welcome Honorable Prime Minister.
केंद्रीय मंत्रिमंडल के मेरे साथी अश्विनी वैष्णव जी, राजीव चंद्रशेखर जी, जीपे के आउटगोइंग चेयर जापान के मिनिस्टर हिरोशी योशिदा जी, मेंबर कंट्रीज के अन्य मिनिस्टर्स, अन्य महानुभाव, देवी और सज्जनों, ग्लोबल पार्टनरशिप और आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस समिट में मैं आप सभी का स्वागत करता हूं। मुझे खुशी है कि अगले साल भारत इस समिट की अध्यक्षता करने जा रहा है। ये समिट एक ऐसे समय हो रही है जब एआई को लेकर पूरी दुनिया में बहुत बड़ी डिबेट छिड़ी हुई है। इस डिबेट से पॉजिटिव और नेगेटिव हर प्रकार के एस्पेक्ट्स सामने आ रहे हैं। इसलिए इस समिट से जुड़े प्रत्येक देश पर बहुत बड़ा दायित्व है। बीते दिनों में मुझे अनेक पॉलिटिकल एंड इंडस्ट्री लीडर से मिलने का अवसर मिला है। मैंने उनसे मुलाकात में भी इस समिट की चर्चा की है। एआई के प्रभाव से वर्तमान और आने वाली पीढ़ियां कोई भी छूटी नहीं है। हमें बहुत सतर्कता के साथ, बहुत सावधानी के साथ आगे बढ़ना है। और इसलिए मैं समझता हूं इस समिट से निकले विचार, इस समिट से निकले सुझाव पूरी मानवता की जो मूलभूत मूल्य है उसकी रक्षा और उसको दिशा देने का काम करेंगे। फ्रेंड्स, आज भारत एआई टैलेंट और एआई से जुड़े न्यू आइडियाज का सबसे प्रमुख प्लेयर है। भारत के युवा टेक एक्सपर्ट्स, रिसर्चर्स एआई लिमिट्स को एक्सप्लोर कर रहे हैं। भारत में हम एक बहुत ही जोश से भरी हुई एआई इनोवेशन स्पिरिट देख रहे हैं। यहां आने से पहले मुझे एआई एक्सपो में जाने का अवसर मिला। आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस कैसे जीवन बदल सकती है, ये हम इस एक्सपो में देख सकते हैं। युवा एआई इनिशिएटिव के तहत चुने गए युवाओं के आइडियाज को देखकर मुझे ज्यादा खुशी होना बहुत स्वाभाविक भी था। ये युवा टेक्नोलॉजी के द्वारा सामाजिक बदलाव लाने का प्रयास कर रहे हैं। भारत में एआई से जुड़े सॉल्यूशंस की चर्चा तो अब गांव-गांव तक पहुंच रही है। हाल ही में हमने एग्रीकल्चर में एआई चैटबॉट को लॉन्च किया। इससे किसानों को अपने एप्लीकेशन स्टेटस, पेमेंट डिटेल्स और गवर्नमेंट स्कीम्स से जुड़े अपडेट्स जानने में मदद मिलेगी। हम एआई की मदद से भारत में अपने हेल्थ सेक्टर को भी पूरी तरह से ट्रांसफॉर्म करने की दिशा में काम कर रहे हैं। सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट गोल्स को हासिल करने में भी एआई अहम भूमिका निभा सकती है। फ्रेंड्स, भारत में हमारा विकास मंत्र है सबका साथ, सबका विकास। हमने एआई फॉर ऑल की भावना से प्रेरित होकर सरकार की नीतियां और प्रोग्राम तैयार किए हैं। हमारा प्रयास है कि हम सोशल डेवलपमेंट और इंक्लूसिव ग्रोथ के लिए एआई की क्षमताओं का पूरा फायदा उठा सकें। भारत एआई के रिस्पॉन्सिबल और एथिकल यूज के लिए भी पूरी तरह कमिटेड है। हमने नेशनल प्रोग्राम ऑन आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस शुरू किया है। हम भारत में एआई मिशन भी लॉन्च करने जा रहे हैं। इस मिशन का लक्ष्य भारत में एआई कंप्यूट पावर की पर्याप्त क्षमता स्थापित करना है। इससे भारत के स्टार्टअप्स और इनोवेटर्स को और बेहतर सुविधाएं मिलेगी। इस मिशन के तहत एग्रीकल्चर, हेल्थ केयर, एजुकेशन जैसे सेक्टर्स में एआई एप्लीकेशंस को प्रमोट किया जाएगा। हम अपने इंडस्ट्रियल ट्रेनिंग इंस्टीट्यूट के माध्यम से एआई स्किल्स को टियर 2 और टियर 3 शहरों तक पहुंचा रहे हैं। हमारे पास नेशनल एआई पोर्टल है जो देश में आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस इनिशिएटिव को बढ़ावा देता है। आपने ऐरावत इनिशिएटिव के बारे में भी सुना होगा। इस कॉमन प्लेटफॉर्म का उपयोग बहुत जल्द सभी रिसर्च लैब, इंडस्ट्री और स्टार्टअप कर सकेंगे। फ्रेंड्स, एआई के साथ हम एक नए युग में प्रवेश कर रहे हैं। आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस का विस्तार टेक्नोलॉजी के टूल से भी कहीं ज्यादा है। एआई हमारे नए भविष्य को गढ़ने का सबसे बड़ा आधार बन रही है। एआई की एक बहुत बड़ी ताकत है लोगों को कनेक्ट करने की उसकी क्षमता। एआई के सही इस्तेमाल से सिर्फ देश की आर्थिक प्रगति ही सुनिश्चित नहीं होती, बल्कि ये समानता और सामाजिक न्याय को भी पक्का करता है। इसलिए एआई को अपने भविष्य के लिए अलग प्रकार के एआई की भी जरूरत पड़ेगी। यानी एआई को ऑल इंक्लूसिव बनाना पड़ेगा, ऑल आइडियाज को अपनाना पड़ेगा। एआई की डेवलपमेंट जर्नी जितनी ज्यादा इंक्लूसिव होगी, उसके परिणाम भी उतने ही ज्यादा इंक्लूसिव आएंगे। हमने देखा है कि पिछली शताब्दी में टेक्नोलॉजी तक अनइक्वल एक्सेस की वजह से समाज में मौजूद असमानताएं और बढ़ गई थी। अब इस तरह की गलती से हमें पूरी मानवता को बचाना है। हम जानते हैं कि टेक्नोलॉजी के साथ जब डेमोक्रेटिक वैल्यूज जुड़ जाती हैं तो वो इंक्लूजन की दिशा में मल्टीप्लायर के तौर पर काम करती है। इसलिए आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस के भविष्य की दिशा भी ह्यूमन वैल्यूज पर, डेमोक्रेटिक वैल्यूज पर पूरी तरह निर्भर करेगी। आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस हमारी एफिशिएंसी को बढ़ाने में मदद कर सकता है, लेकिन ये हम पर है कि हम इमोशंस की भी जगह बनाए रखें। आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस हमारी इफेक्टिवनेस को बढ़ा सकती है, लेकिन ये हम पर है कि हम अपने एथिक्स को भी बनाए रखें। इस दिशा में ये मंच विभिन्न देशों के बीच सहयोग बढ़ाने में मदद कर सकता है। फ्रेंड्स, किसी भी सिस्टम को सस्टेनेबल बनाने के लिए उसे ट्रांसफॉर्मेटिव, ट्रांसपेरेंट और ट्रस्टेड बनाना पड़ता है। इसमें कोई संदेह नहीं कि एआई ट्रांसफॉर्मेटिव तो है ही, लेकिन ये हम पर है कि हम इसे ज्यादा से ज्यादा ट्रांसपेरेंट बनाएं। अगर हम इस्तेमाल हो रहे डेटा और एल्गोरिदम को ट्रांसपेरेंट और फ्री फ्रॉम बायस बना सके तो एक अच्छी शुरुआत होगी। हमें दुनिया भर के लोगों को यह यकीन दिलाना होगा कि एआई उनके लाभ के लिए है, उनके भले के लिए है। हमें दुनिया के विभिन्न देशों को ये भी विश्वास दिलाना होगा कि इस टेक्नोलॉजी की विकास यात्रा में किसी को भी पीछे नहीं छोड़ा जाएगा। एआई पर ट्रस्ट तब बढ़ेगा जब एआई से जुड़े एथिकल, इकोनॉमिक और सोशल कंसर्न्स पर ध्यान दिया जाए। उदाहरण के लिए, अगर अपस्किलिंग और रीस्किलिंग एआई के ग्रोथ कर्व का हिस्सा बन जाए तो युवा ये भरोसा कर पाएंगे कि एआई उनके भविष्य की बेहतरी के लिए है। अगर डेटा की सुरक्षा पर ध्यान दिया जाए तो लोग यकीन कर पाएंगे कि एआई उनकी प्राइवेसी में दखल दिए बिना विकास को आगे बढ़ाएगा। अगर ग्लोबल साउथ को यह पता होगा कि एआई के विकास में उनकी भी बड़ी भूमिका होगी तो वो इसे भविष्य के एक रास्ते के रूप में स्वीकार कर पाएंगे। फ्रेंड्स, एआई के अनेक पॉजिटिव पहलू हैं, लेकिन इससे जुड़ी नेगेटिव बातें भी उतनी ही चिंता का विषय है। एआई 21वीं सदी में विकास का सबसे बड़ा टूल बन सकता है और 21वीं सदी को तबाह करने में भी सबसे बड़ी भूमिका निभा भी सकता है। डीप फेक का चैलेंज आज पूरी दुनिया के सामने है। इसके अलावा साइबर सिक्योरिटी, डेटा थेफ्ट और आतंकियों के हाथ में एआई टूल्स के आने का भी बहुत बड़ा खतरा है। अगर आतंकी संगठनों के पास एआई लेस हथियार पहुंच जाए तो उससे ग्लोबल सिक्योरिटी पर बहुत बड़ा असर होगा। हमें इस विषय पर चर्चा करके एक ठोस प्लान तक पहुंचने की जरूरत है कि कैसे एआई के गलत इस्तेमाल को रोका जाए। इसलिए ही G20 प्रेसिडेंसी के दौरान हमने रिस्पॉन्सिबल, ह्यूमन सेंट्रिक एआई गवर्नेंस का फ्रेमवर्क तैयार करने का प्रस्ताव रखा था। G20 न्यू दिल्ली डिक्लेरेशन ने एआई प्रिंसिपल्स के प्रति सभी सदस्य देशों के कमिटमेंट की पुष्टि की है। सभी सदस्यों में एआई के उपयोग से जुड़े खतरों को लेकर एक अंडरस्टैंडिंग थी। जिस तरह हमारे पास विभिन्न अंतर्राष्ट्रीय मुद्दों के लिए समझौते और प्रोटोकॉल्स है, उसी तरह हमें एआई के एथिकल यूज के लिए मिलकर ग्लोबल फ्रेमवर्क तैयार करना होगा। इसमें हाई रिस्क या फ्रंटियर एआई टूल्स की टेस्टिंग और डिप्लॉयमेंट के लिए प्रोटोकॉल भी शामिल होगा। इसके लिए कन्विक्शन, कमिटमेंट, कोऑर्डिनेशन और कोलैबोरेशन की सबसे अधिक जरूरत है। हमें मिलकर ऐसे कदम उठाने ही होंगे जिससे एआई का रिस्पॉन्सिबल यूज सुनिश्चित हो सके। आज इस समिट के माध्यम से भारत पूरे वैश्विक जगत का आह्वान करता है कि इस दिशा में हमें अब एक पल भी गंवाना नहीं है। इस साल में अब कुछ ही दिन बचे हैं, नया साल आने ही वाला है। हमें एक तय समय सीमा के भीतर ग्लोबल फ्रेमवर्क को पूरा करना ही होगा। मानवता की रक्षा के लिए ये किया जाना बहुत ही जरूरी है। फ्रेंड्स, एआई सिर्फ एक नई टेक्नोलॉजी ही नहीं है, ये एक वर्ल्ड वाइड मूवमेंट बन गई है। इसलिए हम सभी का मिलकर काम करना बहुत ही आवश्यक है। अगले 2 दिन आप सभी बहुत से विषयों पर चर्चा करेंगे। मैं तो जब भी किसी एआई एक्सपर्ट से मिलता हूं तो अपने सवाल और सुझाव रोक नहीं पाता। आज आप एक्सपर्ट से बातें करते हुए भी कई बातें मेरे मन में आ रही हैं। हमें ये सोचना होगा कि एआई जनरेटेड इंफॉर्मेशन की क्रेडिबिलिटी को कैसे बढ़ाया जा सकता है। ऐसे क्या डेटा सेट्स हो सकते हैं जिनके उपयोग से हम एआई टूल्स को ट्रेन और टेस्ट कर सकें। किसी एआई टूल को मार्केट में रिलीज करने से पहले कितना टेस्ट करना चाहिए, इस पर भी जरूर सोचना चाहिए। क्या हम कोई सॉफ्टवेयर वाटरमार्क इंट्रोड्यूस कर सकते हैं जो ये बताएं कि ये इंफॉर्मेशन या प्रोडक्ट एआई जनरेटेड है। इससे जो व्यक्ति एआई जनरेटेड इंफॉर्मेशन का इस्तेमाल करेगा उसे उसकी लिमिटेशंस के बारे में पता रहेगा। एक बात मैं भारत में केंद्र सरकार और राज्य सरकार के दिग्गजों से भी कहूंगा, सरकारों के पास योजनाओं से जुड़ा विभिन्न तरह का डेटा होता है। इसका उपयोग एविडेंस बेस्ड डिसीजन मेकिंग में कैसे कर सकते हैं? क्या हम ऐसे डेटा का एआई टूल को ट्रेन करने में उपयोग कर सकते हैं? क्या हम एक ऐसा ऑडिट मैकेनिज्म स्थापित कर सकते हैं जिसमें एआई टूल्स को उसकी क्षमता के आधार पर रेड, येलो या ग्रीन में कैटेगराइज किया जा सके? क्या हम एक इंस्टीट्यूशनल मैकेनिज्म स्थापित कर सकते हैं जो रेजिलिएंट एम्प्लॉयमेंट को सुनिश्चित करे? क्या हम स्टैंडर्डाइज्ड ग्लोबल एआई एजुकेशन करिकुलम ला सकते हैं? क्या एआई ड्रिवन फ्यूचर के लिए लोगों को तैयार करने के स्टैंडर्ड तय कर सकते हैं? ऐसे अनेक सवालों पर सरकार से जुड़े लोग और आप सभी एक्सपर्ट्स जरूर विचार करें। फ्रेंड्स, आप जानते हैं कि भारत में सैकड़ों भाषाएं बोली जाती हैं, हजारों बोलियां हैं। डिजिटल इंक्लूजन को बढ़ाने के लिए एआई की मदद से स्थानीय भाषा में डिजिटल सर्विसेज कैसे उपलब्ध कराई जा सकती हैं, इस बारे में भी सोचें। जो भाषा अब नहीं बोली जाती उसे एआई की मदद से कैसे रिवाइव किया जा सकता है, इस पर भी काम करें। संस्कृत भाषा का नॉलेज बेस और लिटरेचर बहुत समृद्ध है, उसे एआई की मदद से कैसे आगे बढ़ाया जा सकता है, इस पर भी सोचें। एआई की मदद से वैदिक मैथमेटिक्स के मिसिंग वॉल्यूम्स को क्या फिर से जोड़ा जा सकता है, इस बारे में भी प्रयास किया जाना चाहिए। फ्रेंड्स, मुझे विश्वास है कि ये समिट आइडियाज एक्सचेंज करने का बेहतरीन अवसर उपलब्ध कराएगी। मैं चाहता हूं कि इस समिट में शामिल होने वाले हर डेलीगेट के लिए एक ग्रेट लर्निंग एक्सपीरियंस साबित हो। अगले 2 दिनों तक आप एआई के विभिन्न पहलू पर गहनता से विचार विमर्श करेंगे। मुझे आशा है कि हमारे पास स्पेसिफिक आउटकम्स होंगे। इन पर अमल करके हम एक रिस्पॉन्सिबल और सस्टेनेबल फ्यूचर के निर्माण का रास्ता जरूर सशक्त करेंगे। आप सभी को मेरी बहुत बहुत शुभकामनाएं हैं। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। नमस्कार।
Honorable Prime Minister, thank you very much for your insightful address, for your guiding words. We thank Honorable Prime Minister for his gracious presence Ladies and gentlemen, we hope this summit helps deliver better outcomes and bridges the gap between theory and practice, promoting trust in and adoption of trustworthy artificial intelligence. We thank you all for your presence, and with this we conclude the inaugural ceremony of GPay 2023.
You are watching the opening ceremony of the Global Partnership on Artificial Intelligence Summit being held in India's capital, New Delhi. The summit will go on for 3 days. Now, the GPAI is an annual event. The summit is a multi-stakeholder initiative with 29 member states. The focus at the last GPAI held at Osaka in Japan was on responsible AI. Outgoing Chair Japan said all stakeholders should discuss generative AI, international code of conduct for AI systems, and trustworthy deals on AI systems as well. We saw Rajiv Chandrasekhar, India's Minister of State for Skill Development and Entrepreneurship, welcoming the guests, followed by a 20-odd-minute speech by India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi. If I can quickly recap for the benefit of our viewers what he said in his address. He says India is the 2024 chair of the GPAI. The debate around AI revolves around positive and negative elements, so the world needs to tread carefully on AI. The summit, he says, will hopefully give direction to the future roadmap of AI. He went on to say that India is committed to responsible and ethical use of AI. A national program on AI has been launched, and India will also soon launch an AI mission. The Prime Minister says what is needed is an inclusive AI along with equitable access for the technology based on human and democratic values. Also needed is a space for emotion too, he says, not just artificial intelligence as a technology, therefore the need to maintain ethics. Also needed is transparency. He says an algorithm should be free from bias. Trust is another important factor. He says AI is an important tool for the 21st century, but it has the potential to destroy the world as well. Remember deepfake? So he says if AI falls in the hands of terrorists, it might cause more harm than good. India, he says, had proposed a framework for governing AI at the G20 summit held in New Delhi this year. And a global framework for ethical use of AI is also needed, and a protocol for deployment and testing of AI too. He says there is not a moment to lose within a specific time frame. He says the world must draw up a global framework for AI. He says AI has become a worldwide movement. It is not just a technology. Credibility is another important factor. He says we could discuss or propose a watermark to warn users that a product is AI generated or not. And last but not the least, he proposed a global curriculum for AI and to revive ancient Indian languages and Vedic mathematics in particular using artificial intelligence. All right, that's all for this edition of DD India Live. Let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. You can connect with us on Facebook, X and Instagram. You can also check out our website, ddindia.co.in. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I am Ramesh Ramachandran. From all of us here in New Delhi, thanks for watching DD India Live.